Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So we got Crypto Wolf here on Twitter, that's at XRP Crypto Wolf, sent me this. Europe's central bank digital currency is underway, progress possibly next year within the coming months. And so he writes, the ECB's governing council will meet next week under Christine Lagarde, which will be brand new, and could address the issue of a central bank digital currency. So work on the ECB digital currency underway, progress possible for next year, guys. So this from Brussels, progress on the feasibility of a digital currency backed by the European Central Bank could be made in the coming months, senior officials said on Friday, cautioning that the project faced challenges and was for long term. Plans for a European public digital currency have begun emerging after social media giant Facebook announced in June its blueprint for Libra, a private digital currency, which spooked regulators who have since raised concerns and said Facebook's project could be banned. Well, yes. And we heard this from Brad Garlinghouse as well, right? Facebook just kind of came in fast and furiously trying to push their project through, and regulators just said, hey, whoa. We can't just let you do whatever you want. And so this kind of spooked the industry, or rather spooked central bankers, lawmakers, and governments alike. So it really got these bodies to pull up their socks and start thinking of alternatives. And so this is what we're discussing right now. It was kind of a boon, and it's kind of great because, it really kind of has kicked up cryptocurrency regulation into high gear. We were moving at a snail's pace in 2018, and then, by June, I feel like we've been hearing progress reports from all over the world. We are seeing progress, and this is a good thing. So they say, I'm not going to read the whole article, guys, but I will link it in the description, as I always do. So they talk about this digitalized cryptocurrency and how it'll make transactions more easily flow more easily across Europe. And they say that it's going to be a project in the making, so it'll happen over the next several years. But that's not to say that there won't be significant progress that they will report on possibly for next year, guys. So this is within the near-term future. Next year is only a couple of months away. Boy, how time flies. It feels like just yesterday that we were at the beginning of 2019, wondering how cryptocurrencies were going to fare. And again, I think that 2019 was a bit of a transition year. 2020 will likely bring more progress reports moving forward. Not to mention, I think the price of Bitcoin will continue to rise to new heights. So beyond the $20,000 mark, that could have an effect on the speculative cryptocurrency market. So could we see new highs, new all-time highs for XRP just based on spec? I think it's quite likely. As we know, the crypto market is still very immature, and so all the other cryptocurrencies are still following Bitcoin. Hence the move below $9,000, guys, if you've been looking at the market. I'm not even going to pull it up because it's a bit frustrating. Nevertheless, let's keep moving. Here we have the daily HODL, and one of Peru's largest banks will now utilize XRP for cross-border payments. This is the ripple effect, folks. So Banco Internacional del Peru, commonly known as Interbank, says it's switching from Ripple's payment messaging system Xcurrent to the company's XRP-powered payment product called On-Demand Liquidity. So their blockchain specialist, Josie Mantilla, made an announcement at the Swell conference in Singapore. In Peru, we started thinking about cryptocurrencies when they first started appearing in the US. The bank has done a great job trying to attract talent that is really focused on innovation, and we have an innovation lab inside the bank. So we work as a team that is allowed to fail and try different things, and we started working with Xcurrent in that way. And now after a year of working with Xcurrent, we have decided to move forward this year and use the cryptocurrency to do our transactions. Well, good on you, Interbank, and the country of Peru for making these changes. I'm guessing that their cryptocurrency regulation is ironed out. If they will be using XRP, I'm sure it'll be for national transactions just within the country so far. And maybe even those corridors where cryptocurrency regulation has come to pass, very prominent corridors. I don't know what's popular in Peru per se. Nevertheless, they're saying they're going to do it, and so that's good news. On-Demand Liquidity, formerly known as XRapid, is designed to use Ripple's native cryptocurrency. Okay, we know all that. Mantilla says the company's focus on new technologies is born out of necessity due to increasing innovation in Latin America's cross-border payments infrastructure. So she goes on to say the need that we have found is both our products of either corporate payments or just remittances are outdated. We're not being competitive in the market anymore. And there are so many fintechs, especially coming from Brazil or from the US itself, that are targeting Peru as one of their next steps to flourish. So Interbank in Peru now moving to XRP for ODL. I saw this on Twitter from @MatthewLINY. And guys, this has to do with the Federal Reserve's proposal to develop round-the-clock real-time payment systems for their FedNow service. So we heard about FedNow, and this just the letterhead here from November 7th. Just a couple of days ago down here, Federal Reserve proposal to develop round-the-clock real-time payment system FedNow service. Now, does this document say Ripple or not? Some people were questioning that in this Twitter thread. This a consumer report, again, for the Fed's actions to support interbank settlement for faster payments. Ripple Boy down here says, can't even find the R letter in the document. Does it relate to XRP? And Matt down here brings up a good point. Future possibilities, but Ripple Tech is the only one currently being used by the Fed. And this is a bit blurry. Taken from an original infographic. I believe, was it from Ripple or somebody created it maybe in the community? I don't quite remember, but it shows how different central banks and, well, Japan we got here, the EU, the United States, the UK and China could be using certain, it's hard to even read here, and I don't really remember. This says FedWire though here, and how they could be using XRP for cross-border real-time gross settlements from 2020 to 2025, so moving into the next decade. And that's a very good point, right? Ripple is kind of the only company in the space doing this. So a lot of these institutions want to say we are making an effort to move towards faster payments. They're not saying cryptocurrencies. They're not saying how they're going to do it. But realistically, guys, when we put 2 and 2 together, there's only one option. Okay, they're not using Bitcoin. They're not using Lightning Network. They're not using some other kind of system that we haven't heard of. Okay, because we'd be reporting on this, right? We'd have heard of it. Think about it. We would have heard of it if something else was available for them to be using. So even though they don't use the Ripple name in the document, I think it's safe to assume they are likely using Ripple, or at least likely plan to use RippleNet. So thanks so much, Matt LINI, on Twitter for posting that. I saw this from XRP Thor, that's at XRP_Thor on Twitter. And this is a big one, guys. If you type in RippleNet into Google Maps, this is what you get. XRP_Canada pointed me in this direction as well. And guys, it is a Google map with all the Ripple connections, all the exchanges, all the banks using Ripple, universities that I'm sure are part of the Spring Initiative. It runs the gamut. So let's type it in ourselves. So RippleNet maps. And here we go, guys. You click here. And there you go. Laser focused on Japan here because they have the most. If you go back to the original map, look at the concentration here in Japan. Just look at how many banks and financial institutions are using RippleNet in comparison. Now, the density really shows up because Japan is such a small country. But even if you look pound for pound, Japan really is immersed in this already, and it is going to be a game changer in the future. Now, Michael Routledge, MBE on Twitter, pointed this out here, and I thought this was kind of interesting. Anyone know why Uber HQ is on the RippleNet map? And so I was looking, and if you zoom into San Francisco, you have a pin marker for Uber HQ. And okay, I'm not even going to do that because he screen grabbed it here. Boom. And it's in the legend here for the RippleNet map as well. Where is it here? I don't see it right now, but it is here. I did see it originally, and it was listed as other. So not labeled as anything specific. As you guys can see, they have active members, banks, default validators, so on and so forth. So what could this mean? Guys, we know Uber is a huge company. I just brought up the Wikipedia here, and they are a company that operates in 785 metropolitan areas worldwide. Its platform can be accessed via its website and mobile apps. Uber has an estimated of 110 million users worldwide, guys. Okay, so a few more stats here. Uber's revenue is 11.27 billion, that estimate from 2018. Their operating income 2.836 billion. Their net income 1.8 billion. Total assets worth 23.988 billion, and total equity 10.33 billion. So this is a big company. Well, we know Uber, right? I'm sure many of you guys have used Uber to get around places, but this is what's important. If you scroll down here, the number of total employees that Uber has is 22,263 worldwide, including 11,488 outside of the United States. So about half of their employees are outside of the United States. And so it only makes sense for a company like Uber to roll out Ripple technology on a grand scale so that they can pay their employees more efficiently through RippleNet, using XRP as that backbone cryptocurrency to convert, because you know Uber has bank accounts loaded with USD, but if they pay somebody in Canada or in Europe or in Japan, they need to convert to that fiat denomination to pay their employees. So I'm sure doing payroll for plus 22,000 employees isn't that easy, but RippleNet will make it easier. Now, this hasn't been confirmed, guys. I'm just speculating on this, but it only makes sense. We know that Brad Garlinghouse has a connection to Uber. We know Uber wanted to headhunt him, and he decided not to go there. We even know that he actually drove an Uber for a while. So there is a connection there, and, you know, even proximity-wise, we know, well, Silicon Valley isn't that big to begin with, but the Uber headquarters is actually quite close proximity-wise to the Ripple headquarters here. Let me see if I can just bring it up real quick. San Francisco, let me just zoom in here. So we got Ripple right up here. Here's Ripple headquarters up here. And then we got Uber down here. So guys, proximity-wise, that is just how tech works. And guys, Uber, stocks plummeted a bit over the last few days. Right now trading at $27.01 per share. But you can see here, guys, the total valuation, and Uber just keeps getting investments from different companies. The latest one, an investment from Toyota in August 2018, now brings their valuation at $76 billion. So guys, could Uber be next on the docket to roll out ODL payments once cryptocurrency regulations come to pass in the countries where they do business? To me, it sounds like a no-brainer, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.